Hello, Becca Armstrong here, and today I want to welcome you to the Unstuck and Unstoppable series. In today's focus, we're going to be talking about how you became you and why, if you're stuck, you're finding yourself feeling blocked or unable to mobilize yourself forward, this is unlikely because of you. I'm going to show you the origins of what has got you stuck. All right, so let's jump in. First, let's talk about you. You have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. Now, in the third trimester, when you are still in the womb, you are starting to develop your self-identity. You move into and are in a theta brainwave. Not just a theta brainwave, but actually a theta wave in the entirety of you. This continues until you're about 7 years old. Now, a theta wave is like hitting the record button, and you are recording how to be a human being. So everything that's going on in your environment, when you're in utero, it includes biochemicals. You're in your mother's womb and you're experiencing what your mom is experiencing. So even though you have not been born yet, you are absolutely downloading, recording, and systemizing what you are experiencing in your environment. Now, this recording continues with whatever's repeated or has an emotional impact on you until you're about 7 years old. Now, this theta wave does not discern. It doesn't say, that's a really good behavior. That's a really good belief system. That's really, high productivity and function. It doesn't do that. It simply downloads and incorporates into the self-identity whatever's being repeated and emotionalized. So now I want to give you some specifics here. It doesn't mean that you are a carbon copy of your environment. How you experience your environment subjectively is what is encoded as a part of your self-identity. So I kind of call it that sometimes family environments can kind of be the wrong way sign. So if your family environment tended to go in one direction, you may have had a negative feeling with that, a negative impact, emotional impact. So you may go the opposite direction. But whatever's being repeated and emotionalized is becoming you. Okay. Then between 7 years old and 10 years old, you start transitioning and you start to incorporate some other waves, alpha wave and beta wave. Beta wave is our active engagement, do life wave. And it happens to be really kind of likened to the play button. So around 7 to 10, you move into other waves. The record button kind of transitions into more of a play button. And then everything you experience in life runs through the system, the self-identity that was built mostly by the time you were 7 and completed by the time you were 10. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have plasticity and have the ability to change. And that's really what this entire series is about and the work that I do. Just to share a little bit about me, if we haven't met before, again, my name is Becca Armstrong. I am a psychotherapist, counseling, clinical hypnotherapist, a business and life coach, and I've been in private practice for over 22 years. I work with anyone from the age of 2 all the way up. My expertise originally, I was focused in cognitive behavioral work, but I've transitioned into being an expert at working at the subconscious level and helping people really heal, transform, get unstuck, and really thrive in their life. So this series is all about me sharing what's in my tool bag with you to help you to thrive. So let's go back. After 10 years old, play button occurs. Now, let's talk about what your self-identity is. Your self-identity is a beautiful, very important system. It incorporates from your self-identity, the first thing that is encoded in those early phases of your upbringing and your growth is your life definitions. Okay, life definitions. So your thesaurus and your dictionary is encoded subjectively to you. Now think about this like a deck of cards. A deck of cards has no meaning until you name the game that you're playing. And then once you name the game that you're playing, the rules and the systems for how you play come to be. The way in which you see the cards change. So you're going to see the cards in your hands differently if you're playing blackjack than if you're playing Go Fish. So your personal definitions become your personal schema for how you label things in your entire inner and external environment. Now, from definitions, you gain belief systems. Okay, belief systems. And from beliefs, you then gain your perceptual lens, the way in which you see the world. So definitions and belief systems come together and they govern what you see. They also govern what you don't see, filtering things out, filtering things in. Also, your perceptions govern what and how you assess something. So one person might see something as simple and you may have a definition and belief system that gives you the perception of complex. Okay. So, and then from perceptions, it actually aligns you and governs your emotions. Think about emotions as magnetic conductivity. From emotion, it also governs the thoughts that you have. Now, you might not know this, but on average, a person will experience 70,000 independent thoughts every day. So if you are a meditator and you try to stop thinking, it is impossible. You're thinking without knowing that you're thinking, because 66,500 of those thoughts that you have every day are part of what was encoded by the time you were 7. Now, where did you encode these thoughts? Where did you encode these feelings or these emotions? From your environment, whatever was repeated or emotionalized. Okay, now where did it come from? Those in your environment. Now remember, they were, 0 to 7 years old at one time in their life. They were doing the same theta recording and encoding. So your emotions, your thoughts are part of those encoded systems that you downloaded and recorded from others, who downloaded and recorded from others and downloaded and recorded from others. We used to think this was genetic. This is epigenetic. This is the environmental influence on our system, and our system encodes to those influences. So your thoughts and feelings, or your thoughts and emotions, are mostly not yours. Only about 5% of your thoughts are yours in your day, and about 2% of your emotions are yours. Now, you notice that I keep saying feelings because actually from emotion and then thought, you actually then have the combination of those that get experienced in your body, which become a feeling. So the feelings you have are actually the combination of thought and emotion that actually create a state and a sensation in your body. Okay, so quick little review. We've got self-identity, and that brings definitions of self and the world. That brings belief systems. That brings perceptions. That brings emotions. That brings thoughts. Again, 2% of your emotions are yours in the now moment. 5% of your thoughts throughout the day, yours in this now moment. Everything else you got from somebody else. Okay. The mixture, the way that they come together and express in your body are feelings. Those are 95% part of the encoded automated self-identity. So again, your feelings are likely encoded from somebody else. So there's somebody else's feelings, somebody else's perceptions, somebody else's beliefs. Okay. Then you get behavior, because once you've got the sensation in your body and it's taken an expressive state in your body, now you got behaviors. So you're doing things. Now, here's the thing about psychology, which I appreciate because there are tools here that are really, really valuable, and I use them with my clients. However, you cannot change automated thoughts that you don't even know you're having by trying to intend them differently. Only 5% of your day, you're consciously engaging outside of your automated self-identity. So you're trying to use 5% of you to try to change 95% of you. And the moment you are doing something that's part of the automated system, you're no longer in your 5% of consciousness. You're in your 95% of pre-recorded, automated self-identity. So then we go to say, I want to do different. I want to change my behaviors. Well, your behaviors are part of this automated system and self-identity. Now, this is good. This allows you to multitask. Your subconscious, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, is so helpful to you. It's the entire job of the subconscious. So from behaviors, you get actions, okay? And your actions influence your life. So you might say, why am I doing this? Why am I not doing this? Why can't I make this change? Why is it that I make this change and I do it for a little while and then back I go to my old behavior? Well, that's what this series is all about. That's what the work I do is all about, is helping people actually get to that record button, hit the record button, and expand and change and transform the self. Now, here's the cool thing. If you go and you hit the record button and you change at the self identity, you are not, well, here's what you're actually doing. You're creating the new definitions. Okay. And when you create the new definition and you record a new self, a new aspect of self, now the beliefs automatically change. Imagine the deck of cards. If you're playing blackjack and you say, okay, enough of this, we're going to play Go Fish. Boom, instantly the way you see the cards change. What you believe about what's good and bad changes immediately by changing the definition of the game. So when you hit the record button and you change the definition, you change the belief systems, you change the perceptions, you change the emotions, you change the thoughts, you change the feelings, you change the behavior, you change the actions. That's how cool you are. But we're not taught how to hit the record button. Now you have the ability, if you are 200 years old and you are blessed to live that long, my goodness, you can still hit the record button. Okay? So let's talk about the the subconscious and its job. Okay, the whole job of your subconscious is to take care of you. It's the part of you that is governing your breath, making sure you're breathing when you're not thinking about it, when you're sleeping, pumping the blood through your body, regulating your hormones and your biochemistry. It's doing everything you're not thinking about. Why? Because it allows you to do trillions of things simultaneously and work with a larger intelligence that knows. When you cut your finger, that larger intelligence that is in communication and automated through the subconscious heals your finger. You consciously won't know how to do that. We're going to talk about some examples in future segments and what this looks like and actually how it works. It's amazing. But there's the subconscious intelligence and higher level intelligence that you have access to. It's kind of like your subconscious can dial into the super conscious or the infinite and pull in more and more and more and more resources for what you need. So this is the part of you that's taking really good care of you. When you were in utero, third trimester, all the way to 7 years old, it's recording how to be a human being so that you can function in life. It's kind of like when you get your phone, and it can do some things, but most people put a bunch of apps on the phone and then it can do amazing things. Before 7 years old, it's like you're putting your own apps on you, okay? Then they become automated so that you can absolutely take care of simultaneously many, 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 many things. You can repair cells, you can drive, you can listen to the radio, you can have a conversation, you can do math while you're brushing your teeth. I mean, this is all governed at the subconscious level. Now, the subconscious moves information at about 400 billion bits of information per second. Now, when I first started in this work, they could only track it at 4 billion. Okay, so now our measurement devices have become much more sophisticated and we can track it at 400 billion. Yay! Okay, so I'm curious. I've seen it go from 4 billion up to 400 billion. So I just wonder if our measurement instrumentation becomes more sophisticated if it goes up. Okay. We used to think that the impulse rate, we could measure it at about 150,000 miles per second. Okay. That's where we started. Now the transfer rate is what they think is the speed of light because it's something that they're not able to measure. Okay, that's the pace at which your subconscious is working for you, maintaining your self-identity. Now, if we think about this piece of paper, this whole white section as the self, your subconscious is designed to keep you in this white section. If you start going outside of the white section here, you start going off the paper, really, it's a threat to the self. So when you start to make a change, okay, some of you said, well, I've made little changes, but then I kind of revert back. Well, when you make a change and you come outside of the self, okay, you go outside of the self, well, what happens is when you are outside of the self, your subconscious will let you make a little teeny tiny change through behavior, thoughts, intention, affirmation, repetition, for a short period of time. If you go a little bit further and you get way outside of self, it's like an alarm goes off at the subconscious level, like, whoa, 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 he or she, they are outside of self. Alert, alert, whoop, whoop, bad, bad. Get them back into self. So this is when you sabotage, you get a cold, you aren't feeling well, so you can't go for the run that day. You forget, you mess something up that you can't understand why you messed it up. That's in order to get you back to self. And it's not to hurt or harm you. It's because this is the system that's working. It may not be helping you to thrive. It may have hurt. It might have pain. It might have illness. It might have really yucky stuff. But you're here. And your whole job of your subconscious is to keep you here. Okay? So if you're going to want to make a change to self, here's what we got to do. We've got to hit the record button. We've got to get you to hit the record button. Now, I said throughout a lifetime, you have plasticity. And this is what I finally discovered. I discovered techniques in working with people that in 30 seconds, all the way to 15 minutes, you can absolutely encode, download, rewrite, rewire, restructure the definition, the self-identity. And is it permanent? Yes, until you decide you want to encode something that is a higher faculty. Okay, you have the right to do this. And what you feel, good or bad, is informing you about either what you want to amplify and strengthen because it feels really good, aligned with your life force, or what feels really, really bad. And that is informing you that there is something greater available to you that you can encode and you can transform into, and that pain has your attention. And it's possible, and it's how you're designed. And this is not a placebo, okay? Because these techniques have been tested with the greatest skeptics that were non-believers, and they worked anyway. And these techniques have also, in certain portions of them, undergone neuroscience studies, where in one study there were 5,000 brain scans that demonstrated the efficacy of the rewriting and the rewiring. So here's the thing: talking about the pain, talking about and exploring the talking of it, the focusing on it, actually strengthens it. Behavior, well, your behavior's automated. So you'll take, 5 steps consciously. And then the rest of the 95 steps are going to be subconscious, and they're going to be back into the pattern that you feel stuck in. Okay. So talking and awareness is really important because awareness is the first phase of transformation. However, it doesn't cause transformation. It simply identifies what is ready to transform and allows you to choose. But choice is part of the encoded system, because a lot of times people do not have an aspect of their self-identity that says, yeah, I can choose what's right for me, what lifts up my life. I can choose prosperity. And so that is not often there. And then again, behaviors, they are only uh, conscious and intentional 5% of the time. The rest of the 95% of everything you think, feel, say, and do is part of the automated self. So we're going to pause in this episode here, and we're going to come back in the next episode, and we're going to talk about your core foundation of self. I want you to think about a house, okay? And a house is only as stable, sturdy, and capable as its foundation. And in the work that I've been doing with people over the last 2+ decades, I have discovered that there are 4 aspects of the core self-identity that are foundational aspects. And if they are not there, if they are not fully there, or they are wobbly or unstable, the whole self-identity is unstable. And these techniques between 30 seconds and 15 minutes actually allow you to build your core foundation, restore your core foundation, restructure your core foundation so that everything that comes from the foundation of who you are is aligned to thrive. And this is going to be a really exciting episode. So I look forward to seeing you in the next series or the next episode. Have a wonderful day. And if you are inspired by what we have been talking about, I'd love to receive your questions, your comments, your feedback. Reach out to me. How to contact me is always incorporated in the bio or the definitions and the information here. I love hearing from you. So post comments, give me feedback. Let's start a discussion because my whole intention is to help you to get unstuck and unstoppable. All right. See ya very, very soon. Take good care.